Check it out, y'all. Did you even know that Adam and Eve died before they had Cain and Abel? I thought Cain killed Abel and the parents are still freaking living, but it doesn't seem that way. All right. I found a new book called The First Book of Adam and Eve. This has never been taught. I don't think that y'all have ever heard of this story before, but check it out. It's crazy. And I think that you'll like it. I think you'll enjoy it. Go ahead and close your eyes. Um, we're going to go ahead and fill in the gaps, fill in the things that you haven't heard of that maybe some people thought that you didn't need to hear or didn't need to learn. But it's crazy. This is the first chapter and the second chapter of the first book of Adam and Eve. They freaking died, y'all. Check it out. The Crystal Sea. God commands Adam, expelled from Eden, to dwell in the cave of treasures. On the third day, God planted the garden in the east of the earth, on the border of the world eastward, beyond which, towards the sun rising, one finds nothing but water that encompasses the whole world and reaches unto the borders of heaven. And to the north of the garden there is a sea of wafer, clear and pure to the taste, like nothing else, so that through the clearness thereof one may look into the depths of the earth. And when a man washes himself in it, becomes clean of the cleanness thereof, and white of the whiteness, even if he were dark. And God created the sea of his own good pleasure, for he knew that what come of the man he should make, so that after he had left the garden, on account of his transgression, men should be born in the earth, from among whom righteous ones should die, whose souls God would raise at the last day, when they should return to their flesh, should bathe in the water of that sea, and all of them repent of their sins. But when God made Adam go out of the garden, he did not place him on the border of it northward, lest he should draw near to the sea of wafer. And he and Eve washed themselves in it, be cleansed from their sins, forget the transgression they had committed, and he no longer reminded of it in the thought of their punishment. Then again, as the southern side of the garden, God was not pleased to let Adam dwell there, because when the wind blew from the north, it would bring him on the southern side the delicious smell of the trees of the garden. Wherefore God did not put Adam there, lest he should smell the sweet smell of the trees, for God of his transgression, and find consolation for what he had done. Take delight in the smell of the trees, and not be cleansed from his transgression. Again, also because God is merciful and of great pity, and governs all things in a way he alone knows, he made our father Adam dwell in the western border of the garden, because on that side the earth is very broad, and God commanded him to dwell there in a cave, in a rock, the cave of treasures below the garden. Adam and Eve faint upon leaving the garden. God sends his word to encourage them. But when our father Adam and Eve went out of the garden, they trod the ground on their feet, not knowing they were treading. And when they came to the opening of the gate of the garden, and saw the broad earth spread before them, covered with stones, large and small, and with sand, they feared and trembled, and fell on their faces from the fear that came upon them, and they were as dead. Because whereas they had hither to have been in the garden land, beautifully planted with all manner of trees, they now saw themselves in a strange land, which they knew not, and had never seen. And because at that time they were filled with the grace of a bright nature, and had not hearts turned towards earthly things, Therefore had God pity on them, and when he saw them fallen before the gate of the garden, he sent his word unto Father Adam and Eve, and raised them from their fallen state.